we have finally reached the quarter-final stage of the tournament. So we have our top 8 qualifying through, with this one being RogueLink versus Mijati. Both doing very well so far in this tournament. This round is a one-and-done match, so the winner of this race will move on to the semi-finals, and from the semi-finals onwards, I do believe it will be a best-of-3 series. So things are going to heat up, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. These are two... Well, everyone in the brackets at this point is an excellent runner, so I think we're going to see a lot of really great matches, and I think this is going to be no exception right here.
I can definitely agree with that, as they're making their way through. Sorry, I'm slowing my words already. Great start. So, opening up here, what you'll probably see is I'll be aiming to hit probably a couple of guards along the route. Some may hit more than others. That's mainly for potential drop attributions. The black suited guards in particular have a potential drop of a pipe ball or a a regular monster milk, which, if they can get that drop, will give them a great advantage going into our opening boss of the run, the ammo baron.
Yes, absolutely. It looks like they're both going for a few guards. They're both going for the black suited guards. Mijati taking out a few more, but I don't think it has paid off for either of them. No drops so far, unfortunately. And it looks like they're both going to be using their pike balls here on the bridge section instead of going pikeless and saving it for the ammo baron.
Yeah, there's a slightly risky aspect going against the ammo baron without the pipe ball, but with proper execution it can still be done, which enables them to keep that pipe ball for a little later on for potential extra drops.
Yeah, it's my strategy of choice, but it's really easy to screw up. So let's see, going in here, Mijati, he starts out getting trolled, and he is just, he's choosing to just tank these shots. For some reason or another, he's just letting the tank run over him. I guess he's annoyed. Yeah, that's...
Yeah,
oh boy. RogueLink is, so far, he's chargeless. Mijati, I think he's got 3 charges so far. Sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was just going to have a quick rundown of ammo baron. First boss has some RNG to him. We know he could do one of 3 things. He could charge, he could shoot the black cannonball or a red cannonball. Red, of course, is the one they want to take the ammo baron down. We do know at least that he won't charge once the cannonballs are started to fire, as long as the red ball doesn't, disintegrate, or until it's being used up. So, thankfully, that didn't happen to either runner, and RogueLink pretty much had a solid, or pretty decent ammo baron, from what I can make out. Majority not so fortunate, but there are multiple points in the run where RNG will have some factor, so RNG will flip-flop between the runners, I can assume.
Yeah, I would say so. This is a really interesting race as far as RNG is concerned, because you sort of have to gamble on whether or not you're going to get good RNG, or if you're going to hedge your bets, collect a little more money. And so, yeah, it's like RNG is sort of a strategy, which makes it kind of unique from other games, and that's one aspect I like about it a lot.
Yeah, definitely. No run truly feels the same way, although routing is pretty much the same throughout, but how RNG works for you may change the way you approach the run and within the moment. So it's always a good bit of brain power being used in your run.
Oh yeah, you gotta math on the fly depending on what you get. Anyhow, RogueLink right here, he just destroyed the first and only Cacklebat that these two are going to see in the run. Normally, in the normal mode, there are 20 Cacklebats spread across the land, and you kill them all to get the good ending. But here we're just doing any percent, so this is the only one we're going to be fighting.
We will see a few en route, but we'll just ignore them. Yeah. They do not need to be disturbed. You'd be fine.
They're not bothering anybody. They're just like a living font of black magic. It's no big deal.
Yeah, sure.
So RogueLink has just picked up the library card from Sky. We're going to return that later, and always return things you borrow, because it pays off in spades. And after that, he heads down here to do the only mandatory save in the run. You actually cannot leave this area until you save. They may choose to save later, just to be on the safe side, because if you die, you go back to your last save point. But they might not, because it's slow. Ooh, oh man, RogueLink Oh my goodness, RogueLink, he gets a lobster tail, a super pike ball, and a super monster milk from these friggin' scarecrows. They're just dropping things left and right. He is one happy camper right now.
Yeah, these scarecrows again, RNG drops. Usually their drop table's pretty low, to be fairly honest, but both runners wanting to see either Super Popular or Mosmic, or in Rose case, both. He's probably having a little dance around his living room right about now.
I would say so. Mijati, unfortunately, getting stiffed. RogueLink here entering the sewers, and he's going to do an interesting glitch where he gets himself caught between the ceiling and this snake, and he can... Ooh, he's getting snake trolled right now. Basically, you can attack the snake multiple times while it's dying, and you can like get multiple drops out of it because its hitbox still exists.
Yeah, just be able to duplicate or get a triple drop on items because the snake's been a bit trolly for Rogue. Mijati is now overtaken. Also, I think he did an animation skip there, which by using either food or potion whilst collecting an item, such as keys or maps or such, you can actually override the collection animation with the food or potion usage animation, which roughly saves 2 to 3 seconds of time, depending on their menuing.
Yeah, that's fortunate for... I have not even thought to skip the travel brochure. I would usually be leaving it for another key, but I mean, it's all the same. It's all the same length of animation.
Yeah, stuff like that is always that. Like a lot of things in the run, really, which is something I also love about this game. A lot of things that they can do is pretty much runner's preference. You may even see some diversion in routing as well, depending on what runners prefer to go for. So it's great that the run's that open-ended, so to speak.
Yeah, this is really a great racing game, I think, because like the RNG. If you're going for a world record, you do really need to have RNG on your side, but in a race, it's like you can't just reset and try again. You gotta route on the fly, and that makes it very engaging. Ooh, Mijati, he is diving into the floor to pick up some extra gems. He's now at 60 gems. I wonder what he's going to be shopping for.
Yeah, it looked like he was a little low on gems for what he likes to do. He takes a different shopping route compared to most runners. If I'm not mistaken, he'll be looking to pick up 4 flares and a super pipe ball, unless he gets a super pipe ball drop on the way back.
He did not, unfortunately.
No, but his reasoning for that is down to the fact of generally they try and get a 2 shopping route done, but with the method that Mijati uses and came up with, it brings 2 shopping route more consistent. The sacrifice of a little more time, but again, RNG does play a factor in some aspects, but it just makes sure he can cover his bases more times than not.
Yeah, can't fault the guy. He's got a really good PB. RogueLink, it looks like he picked up Pirate Flares and then ignored the Super Pike Ball. He's just going to use the one that he got as a drop. That's a smart play. So now they just... Yeah,
carry on.
Now they've just entered a Saliva Island, which is the first proper island of this route. We're going to see why it's called Saliva Island in a little bit, and you may regret seeing why. For now, let's just climb around here, and we're going to meet 2 fun characters, Twitch and Vinegar, and their giant ham.
Who doesn't like a bit of ham?
Everyone likes a bit of ham. Mijati, these 2 are very close right now, just a couple seconds apart. Both of them now smell like ham, and so they're going to be deploying that ham up here, and we'll see what sort of animation skips they can get. Ooh, Mijati, he fails to do the cut, as we call it. RogueLink doesn't even try. But you can see both of them doing some very quick pauses right here. And what that does is it's, for some reason, skips one of the animations of the Gigalumix blinking for a second. And so it's very easy to do, saves several seconds, so everyone goes for it.
Yeah, definitely. If it could have got the cut as well, that would have also saved the animation of that hand sting travelling slowly towards the Gigalumix's nose. Just shoots right up, and getting both of them is a good time save.
Yeah, it's really nice if you can pull it off, but I think it's like a pixel perfect skip, and it's really not easy to do even if you've practiced it. So both of them are out of there, and they're making their way to this fine fellow here, who's trying to unpetrify his wife using the petrify spell. And let's see, I have good feelings about this. That I don't think that worked. I don't think that worked.
Whoopsie, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you want to make an omelet, you got to kill a couple of people, I guess. So, they're in the Spittle Maze now, and now Mijati's out of the Spittle Maze because he's entering a secret dungeon, in an Easter egg dungeon that everyone visits. Turkey, do you want to explain why?
Yeah, the main reason here is they're going to be collecting about 2 keys. Fortunately, within this game, keys are not mandatory to any specific dungeon. They are pretty much global, so they can collect keys from early doors and be able to save them up for a later dungeon. There will be other keys that they'll still need to collect, but getting these 2 in particular will enable them, as long as they get the right amount of keys, to be able to cut about 2/3 of a later dungeon, which we'll go into a bit more when we get there.
Yeah, it's a huge time save though, because this secret dungeon's very fast and the other dungeon is extremely slow. They're also picking up a handful of gems, because shopping is just paramount in this game, so you always want to be collecting gems if you have the spare time. Let's see. Mijati, he's now out of the secret dungeon, and RogueLink is as well. And let's see, Mijati, I think he's working on a slight item deficit here. RogueLink picks up another monster milk and a flesh pop.
Wow.
What is this RNG? I'm getting really mad right now.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy, he wants for nothing right now. So, whoops.
Is it Snake?
Yeah, sorry. Solid Snake just called. I'll take care of that. And meantime, Mijati, he's entering the Wetman battle. He's deploying his scimitar, but RogueLink, he's fortunate that he picked up that monster milk, which he is using right now. So he's going to get a big advantage here.
Yeah, that monster milk usage in the Wetman room obviously melts the room down quicker, but as long as it's done within quick time as well, that monster milk will carry forward over to their first true boss of the run, the Cyclops plant, which they'll be killing in a similar fashion to how they done the snakes, by trying to get themselves trapped between the roof and the eyeball to score major damage with that scimitar. So mind the pun, but don't blink, it's going to go fast. Yeah,
Mijati, he enters a bit earlier than RogueLink and gets a very nice quick kill. But RogueLink still has that monster milk, which means he can get this kill done faster than Mijati can. So they'll probably end up being pretty even.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
RogueLink. Ooh, that did not go quite how RogueLink wanted. I think he was just a little on the quick kill. But Mijati did end up finishing a few seconds before RogueLink did, even with the monster milk.
And so both runners on a very good pace and keeping up with each other very well. So far this first quarter-final race is living up to the hype.
Sure is. I wonder if we're going to be seeing any more lead changes. I certainly hope so. That makes for a great race.
Definitely. Right, so Spittle Maze done, getting the next map to Spiderweb Island, which is home of the Marmite section of the run, I like to call it. I would rather not say any more than that, so let's move on.
Alright. Yeah, I'll give you a break here. I will discuss what we're going to be seeing here. So
it's fine.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. For now, you see Mijati entering, and the beginning of this area is mostly fine, but you have to watch out for ghosts in a couple of these rooms. As you're climbing, they can spawn right ahead of you, they can spawn literally on top of you, and if they do that while you're climbing, you get generally knocked all the way back to the bottom of the room, and it's a huge pain to deal with. You lose several seconds. No trolling for either one of them so far. If RogueLink picks up a flesh pop, what is going on?
I don't know. I have no answer.
I think he left Cheat Engine on or something. Mijati, yep, he gets through without being trolled by ghosts. RogueLink takes the room a little slower to be safe. Here we go. Here's everyone's favorite part of the run. Run, Roddy Tops. So this is a different section of the game. Your HUD disappears and all of your pirate abilities disappear. And you basically have to run through at this speed, dodging enemies and robots and hands and Stevens. And if you get touched by any of them, you don't actually take any damage. You can't die in this section, but you do get sent back to the beginning of whatever room you're in. And that can be a loss of several seconds or even close to like a minute if in the really worst case.
Yeah, it depends on which room they're in at the given time, but yeah, this is pretty much what we generally associate as an auto-scroller. I mean, it's not an auto-scroller, but it's the closest thing we've got to it. There's only a couple of things that they can realistically do to save a bit of time here. One of those methods is cutting around those tongues, as we saw Mijati doing, as well as a little bit of manipulation, but apart from that, pretty much just got to follow out and try not to get hit.
Yeah, pretty much that. You just gotta wait it out sometimes. And like right here, it gets even auto-scroller than before, because you just gotta wait for these Super Mario World spike things to get up and out of your way, and there's nothing you can do except just wait and admire the sprite work, I guess.
Oh, that's always a good thing to do. It's still a beautiful looking game as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah.
It's been animated very well.
Yeah, I mean, like, blown up to the biggest size, it does look a little pixelated. It was designed for the 3DS, which is why it has the look it does. But still, it's really well done sprite work. It looks great. Mijati. Yep, he's now out of the spike room. RogueLink is now out of the spike room. And now we get to deal with the tombstone crabs. Turkey, what is the deal with the tombstone crabs? Why are they jumping at random?
Because they're random, it seems. Yeah. Well, one thing we do know about them is we at least know which ones have the potential to stand up. When or if they actually stand up, that's up to the game. So the safeguard is usually that you'll have seen them just jump over every tombstone that they know for a fact will have that potential to stand up, just to eliminate any real risk of accidentally getting caught and getting sent back to the beginning of the screen. I'm also going to call no verification because no stake jumps. Then again, it's the quarterfinals. I'm sure we can let them off this time round.
I think so. We'll have to hold a special session on it, but I think it's not going to be a big deal. Alright, Mijati and RogueLink, they're now in the same room, very close together, and they're dealing with the kissy robots. And to watch them after they chase after Shantae, they just want to give her a big old kiss. No means no, robots.
We're happy enough just cuddling up to Roddy. We don't need kisses either. We're good.
Sure, Roddy would not be too unhappy with some kisses right now. But, ooh, did I really just say... Alright, Mijati, he is now encountering the most infamous enemy here, the Stevens, which, I don't know why they're called Stevens. Cabbage said that they look like Stevens, so that's what we call them now. Ooh, Mijati gets lucky. The gates of hell are open for him. What we call this particular room. Oh, and RogueLink too. He's able to... Both of them have the first 3 spike pillars just open right up for them as they're approaching, which is almost perfectly ideal. That's several seconds they no longer have to wait. And now both of them are in the final room. RogueLink having a little bit of trouble jumping. Hopefully no deaths here, because this is the most punishing part.
Yeah, because the final room has everything that they've encountered through Run and Rocky Tops as well, so they'll take the knowledge that they've had throughout and try and burst. As Sam mentioned, getting caught in this room, especially near the end, it's a good 30-second time loss. Depends on where you get caught, but it can be very costly should any runner have that mishap.
Yeah. Fortunately, both runners get through there unscathed, have no trouble in the final stretch. And Mijati is leading by 5-ish seconds, I want to say, as he finally drops off Liar Tops at her house. She said she was stung by a spider, but no, she was not. She is a liar. Done with that, and now we have to talk to Poe. We're going to hand over the squid oil that we got earlier in the run. He's going to fix up his wagon, so we never have to go through Run Roddy Tops again. And everyone was happy.
Yay! The the real question is, does it smell?
Yeah, we're here. We're going to get the shriveled thing status report in just a second. She's got the shriveled thing, and oh, it smells. It smells.
It smells.
RogueLink, his smells as well. That's unfortunate.
What a shame. Yeah, it's very important to wait for that. You know it smells, because that's actually one of the only text boxes in the game that we can't actually skip. We don't know why.
Yeah, that's something they usually reserve for text boxes that tell you how to use things. But no, here it's really important that we all know that the shriveled thing smells.
Right, so moving on with the next Den of Evil, the Cackle Tower, sorry, there we go. Now, we mentioned earlier about stockpiling on keys. There was a key that they could have got in the first lab. Most runners generally tend to go for this one. Time-wise, they're roughly the same. Depends on what items you got, but you also have potential drops of Super Monster Milk, Super Pipe Ball, or a Pirate Flare, which you can get from the Bat Lady of the Key Room. Hopefully, RNG will play the first, because most runners would want to see that Super Monster Milk drop, being one of the more stronger items to gather, as well as one of the most expensive consumable items as well.
Yeah, Mijati unfortunately gets completely screwed. He gets only one Pike Ball throughout that entire stretch. RogueLink, he got a couple of Pike Balls, but he also took a bit of a hit from this Bat Lady, who is not treating him well at all. And he doesn't get anything from the Bat Lady either. That's a bit unfortunate.
Well, unfortunately that can happen. It is a bit of a risk, but as mentioned, time-wise they're about the same, so no real loss there overall. Just it's a shame they didn't get the item that they would have loved to have seen.
Yeah, well, Rogue did take a little bit of a beating against his Bat Girl, but that only loses a handful of seconds for him. Nothing major.
Very true. Mijati's probably hoping for a bit more RNG luck at the moment. Unfortunately, it's not been favouring him as much as it has done RogueLink so far. I mean, Rogue does still have that Monster Milk, another Monster Milk in play. He may consider to use it at this boss.
Yeah, this boss usually you go in just using a Super Pike Ball, which is what most people buy at the very beginning of the game, because it makes damaging the boss a lot easier and the boss fight goes a lot faster. And so here, Mijati is entering the boss room, and we'll see. Oh, and you're right, RogueLink is using his Monster Milk. And Mijati, it looks like he is going for the hitbox strat. He's going to jump up in the air here and try and get stuck in the spider's hitbox to do huge amounts of damage. Oh, he gets knocked out.
Yeah, that hitbox damage, basically having a game of chicken with the Emperor Spider. What they're actually doing there is they're whipping their head just before they take damage. This actually causes a stun lock animation rather than a knockback animation. And for reasons I'm not too sure about, it also replenishes your cannon strike, so you could essentially stay in that hitbox throughout the duration of the fight.
Yeah, you have a lot of time that way, and that is what Mijati did. Even though he wasn't using a Monster Milk, RogueLink just stayed completely out of that hitbox, and he ultimately ended up having a slightly slower fight, I feel like. So Mijati pulls ahead just a bit.
Both runners still keeping up with each other, so far so good, to be fair. Nicely done.
Very much so. Now, Mijati is entering Tan Line Island, and hopefully his RNG starts to turn around here, because this is where most of the major drops are going to happen, if they happen at all.
For sure. But for now, they're going to make their way to Squid Baron. He's going to give them the X-ray specs so they can begin a fetch quest for these 3 sarcophagi. Each of them holding a pass key to be able to enter the next lab, the Tan Line Temple. Hopefully, all goes well. I noticed Mijati did get a regular Monster Milk drop. Sorry, so far so good. At least he gets a drop. Unfortunately, not so much from the Scorp Girl.
No, RogueLink, he ends up with a bubble shield for his efforts, which is an absolutely essential item. You are not going to get anywhere on the final boss without a bubble shield, unfortunately. See, someone says you feel like he actually...
To join the Scorp Girl.
Someone in chat says, "Do you feel like he gained a bit of the lag he has behind Mijati?" It's hard to say because RogueLink had the monster milk, but Mijati had the much faster strat. And Mijati, if he did pull away, it was not by much. They're still about on pace with where they were before. And Mijati, this is part of the place where the routes diverge. You have to go to both Scuttletown and Saliva Island to continue. RogueLink went to Saliva Island first, while Mijati went to Scuttletown and did some murdering. And so now he's going to Saliva Island. So it looked like RogueLink is ahead a little bit, but he still has a whole nother island to go through before he can go back to Tanline.
Yeah, also to note, because of the way Mijati does his shopping route, it will seem like he's going to pull apart again because of that, but because Rogue will go and take his second shop of the run when he gets back to Scottown, and Mijati will be waiting until after the next boss before he makes his way in there to pick up what he needs.
Right, and also RogueLink, he had some real trouble against those mermaids. That's very unfortunate. Got like 3 full knockbacks. That's like 10 seconds gone right there. Right, and there, Mijati is all done. He's going to go back to Tanline Island and find the last sarcophagus, and hopefully he will get some lucky drops from the skeleton corridor, as I started calling it literally just now.
It works.
Yeah. Alright, I'll go with it. Maybe I'll think of something better. Let's see, what's he going to get? He's got 1 super pike ball, 2 regular pike balls. He's picking up a bit of money. He is holding on to a lot of cash right now. Alright, time for round 2. What's he got? Another pike. 2 more regular pikes. Oh, so he is like filled to the brim with pike balls right now. He got 1 super pike ball. I'm sure he was hoping for more, but there are more drop opportunities ahead of them. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so he'll probably opt to cover a couple more gems prior as well, because RNG really hasn't been favouring him too much, so getting those extra gems, he'll be able to cover what he needs to when he gets to his next shop. And I completely blanked now. I was about to say something.
You were about to say, I can't believe Rogue got another super pike ball, which is what he did.
Yes. You're a good mind reader, thank you.
Yeah, I do what I can. Mijati, he is now entering the Metal Gear Shantae section of the run. He's once again been stripped of all his pirate powers and most of his clothing. And now he's got to sneak past these incredibly nearsighted guards as best he can, because if any of them catch Shantae, they are going to send her back to the start of this entire area, which can be a very large time loss if you do it in the wrong place.
For sure. I believe the final guard that they have to get by, if caught by him, is about a good minute and 5 seconds, so any capture really in this area, not only that one, can be very devastating to either of their runs, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, you're telling me. Mijati, he is picking up 60 more gems above this key here, so he's got a really big shopping day planned ahead of him as he enters the final guard room. And he's going for the quick strat, no surprise. See if he can pull it off. This final jump can be pretty tricky to do. Oh, and he's waiting it out. He is not risking the final jump. That's probably a smart play.
Yeah, I can't blame him for that. He's only going to sacrifice a couple of seconds for that, but at least ensures that he's not going to get captured and take a big major time loss out of there. And as mentioned earlier in the run, the stockpile keys is going to come into play at this particular point. For Tanline, you're supposed to have 3 keys to be able to let out all other 3 heroines of the game, but because they've stockpiled earlier, they only had to collect 1 key, which was on their route, and then now they can just go ahead and release them all and move on with the game. And this, again, cuts 2/3 of what this temple actually has to offer, so very big time save.
Oh yeah, you all saw how slow that one section that they did was. Imagine 2 more of those, or worse. and that's pretty much what we're dealing with here. With Mijati, he is all done. He has freed the 3 girls. Now, if you're wondering why all these girls are here in metal bikinis, they have all been kidnapped because they were mistaken for their long-lost princess, pictured here in statue form. Obviously, a stunning likeness. But turns out the princess is back after all these 30 minutes. She was at the store buying some bread.
Oh, mistakes can happen. Maybe better communication next time, princess. Just saying.
So, I mean, like, clearly they've got a really impressive kidnapping situation going on here. They got 4 girls in the span of 30 minutes.
Yeah, they do allude to the... Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
They at least allude that it's not the first time that that's happened with them, so they're very experienced.
Yeah, they've got lots of kidnapping experience. We just saw Mijati, he paused his menu, or he paused, opened up his menu, and moved it back to the items. Oh, and he picks up a super monster milk from the Scorp gal. That's very nice. Basically, right after you hand over the golden pickaxe, you sort of have to wait for an audio cue to happen, and while you're waiting, you can pause the game with impunity and not slow anything down. So this is like our one free pause. You can see RogueLink doing it right here as well.
You got to collect in some extra gems there, I believe. Obviously, not too happy with his item management at this point. If I'm not mistaken, he's only got a regular milk. No, he's got a regular milk, a super milk, and a super pipe ball. So he is a little low on his item management for what he would truly require. From this point of the run, they usually aim to have at least 4 milks and four pipe balls, preferably of the super variant.
Yeah, ooh, goodness. RogueLink, he ends up using his auto potion against one of the Scorp gals. That is really unfortunate. Mijati, meanwhile, he got an extra monster milk and a super pike ball, so he's not doing too bad as he tries the crusher skip, and I think he got it. I think if you're really precise with your dash, you can do what Mijati did just there and skip the entire crusher in 1 cycle. So well done to him.
Got wiggle strats for the win.
Yep, he's count the butt wiggles and step 2 question marks, step 3 profit.
Yes, for certain. As now up next boss of the run, the Squid Baron. He's a scripted fight, so we know what attacks he's going to do and in which order. Again, he'll come in 2 phases. They'll be aiming to take down phase 1 before he starts his eating script. So at least then, if they could do that, it depends on which point of the script that they take him out. They can manipulate phase 2 to force him to begin his eating phase from the moment when they crack the shell open, so then they can just wail on him, because the DPS with buffs is outweighs his healing regenerative powers. So let's be able to just wail on him, and that'll be GG for Squid Baron, pretty much.
Yeah, you can see just how amazingly fast he destroyed that Squid Baron using both the super monster milk and a super pike ball. That fight is no trouble at all for him. Now, RogueLink, he's got to be a little bit careful because he no longer has his auto potion. If he doesn't play his card right, his run could end against any of these bosses, which you do not want.
Mijati's going to have a bit of an advantage here, having all them gems. He'll be able, whatever items he feels he needs, he'll be able to easily pick up from the shop now.
Yep, looks like RogueLink has gotten the cycle that he wanted, so he's going to have a slightly quicker Squid Baron. And so let's see what Mijati's getting. A bunch of pirate players, a bubble shield, and 3 super monster milks all at once. So he is going to try and tank these upcoming bosses, as RogueLink finishes up his Squid Baron in pretty good time. Well done fights to both of them.
Nicely done. Alright, so next up is Mudbug Island. As I didn't just go back to Scuttletown for shopping purposes, I did go there for that Death Mask, which I need to actually access or to get past Mudbug. Mudbug itself is pretty much known as a casual's nightmare. I mean, when you first play the game, it can be pretty unforgiving. Enemies all over the place, they all do a good half a heart of damage. But the aim is to keep their charge throughout this section. Just got to watch out for the ceiling, so there'll be some form of patterning that they'll use to be able to traverse without basically stopping in any danger zones.
Yep, one easy way to make this a lot easier is to always remember to hold the A button between transitions. It basically buffers a jump for you, and as soon as you're able, on the next screen you will automatically jump if you're holding that button. And that works in, I believe, every single room of this part of Mudbog Island. Mijati was doing that just there, and he got through with no problem at all. So now he's going to enter the Village of Lost Souls.
Let's go.
Sounds scary.
Oh, it's very scary. You have to play the scariest, most skill-based game there ever was. Runs can live and die here.
Please tell me we don't have to do that.
Oh, but we do. And you have to tell us what it is.
Oh no! Right, so right, so in the Village of Lost Souls, they're running around to gather these coins up to have that amazing game, which is simply known as Heads and Tails. Very simple game, really, and pretty much once they got them all, they'll talk to the gamers that are in the centre of the arena, and most runners will generally select Heads because that's the option that you always start on. You may see some runners that will divert to Tails just coincidentally, but it is a pure RNG section. I mean, the one thing we at least know that Way Forward did at least give us a safeguard there, so should you fail 3 times, the 4th one will be a guaranteed win no matter what you select. So at least they won't be stuck here forever.
No, thankfully, no. I mean, still, you have the potential of like up to 9 wasted conversations for about 2-3 seconds each. So if you're on PB pace, this section of the game could kill it dead. So we're about to see what Mijati gets. What do you think? Do you think we're going to see a heads, a heads, tails?
I think he's going to get trolled at least once with a heads, tails, but I've been wrong before. I hope I haven't just cursed him.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time you cursed somebody, let's be real.
No, I can't argue that. Cannot argue that at all.
Oh wow, Mijati gets a tails and then a heads, so he gets through almost as fast as possible.
Nice. So that was near perfect RNG. Only 1 tail, so he'll be loving that.
Yeah, no extra heads. And so he manages to get through, he talks to Healthy Tops, and now he's going to hand over this Hopeful Flame, this really weird convoluted side quest. He's now going to get the Manly Musk.
Old Spice. Sorry, I've heard a few people refer to it as Old Spice. I just had to get it in once.
Oh, it's all good. I did that at SGDQ too. It's sort of the joke.
Fair enough.
Alright, let's see how RogueLink fares against the gamers. He gets 1 tails. He gets 2 tails. Well, this could go through. We'll see. Meanwhile, Mijati has now entered the Oubliette of Suffering, which is one of the most broken dungeons of the entire run, all because of the risky shuffle. Can you explain why, Turkey? Why that is?
It's basically because when they get to the central area of this lab, because of the risky shuffle by manipulating the D-pad and the analog stick, holding left on one and tapping right on the other, causes Shantae to do a back and forth motion, but still registers it as a charge. And because of that, they could just get straight to the middle plane, boss through the block, and just go straight to this dungeon's boss. They're pretty much skipping about 80 to 90% of the lab.
Right. The whole point of the dungeon is to set up a trio of platforms for you to walk across and build up that dash. But when you can just dash on a point, there's no point. So Mijati, he took care of that pretty easily, and now he's fighting against Dagron, who can be an extremely trolly boss, but Mijati is having excellent fight here. Oh wow, just like a 2.5 cycle there. Killed Dagron in the air at the beginning of the 3rd cycle. That's an excellent fight.
Yeah, that's very nicely done. I mean, with 1 week buff as well, get pretty much 1 strike away from a 2-rounder with 1 weak item is very impressive. Just shows his accuracy with his ascension damage as well. So beautifully done there, beautifully done.
Very much so. So now, he would be using a pirate flare to escape, but the thing is that pirate flares only work if you're outside, and for some reason or another, the Village of Lost Souls is considered inside. So you have to physically leave this area before you can use a pirate flare. RogueLink, he's going in without a monster milk. He's just going pure super pike ball. And if you're going to do that against any boss, Dagron is probably the one because his cycles are extremely short and you don't lose very much time.
Very true. Also, the more damage you do to Dagron, the faster he actually becomes, which is a good thing for time, but it can be a bad thing if he happens to catch you, because he has a habit of once he knocks you down once when he's going pretty fast, he's likely to hit you a second time. So it's it can be very devastating.
RogueLink is certainly seeing the bad side of Dagron right now. Nearly got himself killed, had to use a lobster tail to survive. Oh my goodness, this is absolutely not the fight he wanted to see. His super pike ball has run out. Oh, he just barely takes out Dagron right there as he's flying away. Well done to him for surviving that fight, but I'm sure that is not what he wanted to happen. That's very unfortunate.
The good thing is he at least survived, so that's definitely great with Mijati made his way through Frostbite. Pretty much just stay in the air throughout the section is pretty much the optional point. As he'll be going to make his way into Propeller Town, a lot of decent movement comes up here, and you get to see how well some of these Pirate Masters equipments truly mesh together. Damn it! Sorry, blanked again. Well, I've really got to get my brain checked.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, like a combination of the hat, the boots, and the cannon make for some just absolutely broken traversals in this area, and we're going to be seeing a lot of that. And it hopefully will be entertaining just watching these two make a complete joke of this part of the game.
Yeah, notice Mijati not at this point set up for the APJ or the Auto Potion jump, which is fair enough because the Auto Potion jump is a very tight end trick. It's only found a few weeks ago where you pretty much only have like 2 or 3 frames, I believe, to pull the jump off, but it does mean sacrificing your Auto Potion, so he's obviously going to be keeping that back for safety, which you can't blame him.
Yeah, absolutely not. And it's so hard to do. It doesn't gain that much time, and he's far enough ahead that he definitely doesn't need it. And he does not try for it at all. RogueLink, unfortunately, has used his Auto Potion, so he couldn't try it even if he wanted to.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Maybe.
I mean, like, there's a limit, though.
The power of positivity. I don't know.
Alright, let's see. My stream is not doing so hot right now, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. Froze on me for a little bit. I think my connection is not great, but Mijati has finished up Propeller Town by talking to Bolo, who we managed to get him a job working for the villain. And oh wow, no, it skipped all the way to Spiderweb Island. I am getting some weird stream stuff going on my machine right now.
Well, if you notice, RogueLink, when he was going for Frostbite, opted to take on the Wolves. They have a potential drop of Super Pipe Balls or Super Monster Milk as well, but their drop table is very low. But because his RNG hasn't been too favourable from the mid-game, obviously attempted to get a couple more drops, unfortunately did not favour him, as he'll make his way now through Pella.
Alright, I'm switching to another machine here, and Mijati, he's using the Pyro Flare. He's getting out of Spiderweb Island. He had to take a quick pit stop there to hand over the Lost Soul, because obviously when you have one dead thing, another dead thing is going to know what to do with it.
Makes sense.
I don't see the problem here. So now Mijati, he's going back through Scarecrow Fields. He's ignoring the Scarecrows because after his shopping spree, he doesn't need any more drops from them. So instead, he's going to see one of the best characters in the game. Hopefully, he'll pull off one of Turkey's favorite tricks. Let's see. Ooh, I think he got it. I think we're gonna see it.
I hope so.
Ooh, there we. Oh, not that boom yet. Hold on, just a second. There we go. We got a nut buster. It's a validated run, everybody. Well done to Mijati. Yeah, we basically had to go talk to legally distinct Chinese knockoff He-Man in order to get Twitch and Vinegar back. We've got this weird three-pronged fetch quest that we've been doing over the past several minutes. And right now it's all coming together for Mijati as he saves Barracuda Joe from a life of death. A life of death, that's a thing.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sky, Barracuda Joe coming to the conclusion that there's plenty more fish in the sea, and he just sort of walks away. Get back there, Barracuda Joe. You've got commitments.
He's got work to do. He's got cannons to install and palaces to blow up. Except it didn't quite hit the palace, thanks to Bolo's targeting module. It instead shot to a completely different island, blew up the Techno Baron, and opened up the path to the final lab, the abandoned factory.
Yeah, right. So the abandoned factory, both of them decided not to cut any other keys previously, so they'll have to get 3 keys before they can make it through. One of the keys in particular towards the end, well, it's not risky to get, which is what I was going to say, but there is a random chance of an ice block potentially falling on him, which really don't want to see, but usually recommended that they go for an animation skip on that particular key. Just eliminates the global cycle of that ice block if they have that option available to them.
Yeah, and I actually did not know that about the ice block. I usually just go underneath the conveyor belt to significantly reduce my chances of getting iced.
Pirate flare activated.
That's fair enough. That's as long as you get away from that ice block, it's all good. As far as I'm concerned, 'cause that ice block can be a troll.
One way or another. And no, Mijati, he is going without the animation skip. Hopefully good things. Oh, nope, he started a dash from farther away and the ice block dropped in front of him instead of on top of him. So he safely makes his way to the penultimate boss of the run, the Steel Maggot, the RNGest boss you ever done see. Holy.
Yeah.
He just got a 1-3-2 first try. Incredibly well done right there. Very lucky. So the 3 buttons on his back, he fails that. You have to hit them in the right order in order to stop the Steel Maggot and get some damage off on him. But the problem is, we don't know the correct order, so we just gotta figure it out. And Mijati is having a lot of trouble. He's hit the same incorrect button 4 times in a row now. He is having a lot of trouble here.
Yes, as I have to be careful because that bullet spread attack will do a full heart of damage, but fortunately, once you land, you can duck straight under it. So it's not too risky, but if you do have to get caught off guard, he hits hard.
Yeah, very much so. Mijati, he ends up getting the same combination twice in a row, but unfortunately it took him a very long time to actually determine this, and so he lost, I want to say like a good 30 seconds almost. So that's a bit of catching up RogueLink can do if he has a good fight.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there, catching that wrong button multiple times, but yeah, Steel Maggot can rip a bit of time like that. But he's still ahead, he's still going strong as he goes for the final stretch of the run, looking to get his position into the semi-finals.
Yeah, I think he's on a really good pace. I think he's on pace for 53 or even a 52 if he has a really good fight.
If I'm not mistaken, based on his time at Steel Maggot, I would say he has a chance to either get just under 52 or just over if he has a solid end to his run.
We'll see. He's got one more major challenge to go, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. Meanwhile, RogueLink, he is going to try his hand at the Steel Maggot. We'll see if he has any better luck. Oh, and he's got an extra bubble shield, so he is going to get some free guesses without having to worry about that bullet spread. And, oh goodness, he gets the correct combination, but he does it a little bit too early, and he's in a very bad position to do damage, so he loses out on a solid phase there, and I think that might cost him the 2-phase.
It depends on what items he uses, that is very possible, I'm not too sure.
He's got a regular Monster Milk and a regular Pike Ball, and there goes the 2nd phase. That's unfortunate. Like, he's landing the final hit when the Steel Maggot is a little bit too close and his tail is like covered up by the end. And if you can pull off a Scimitar strat there, you can do a lot of quick damage, but if you fail it, you're in a spot of trouble. But RogueLink does get a 3 cycle and ultimately has a faster fight than Mijati does. Might be too little too late. Mijati is now on the climb, which is where basically we have this big tower full of Pirate Master challenges, and we hate doing them because they're slow. So instead, we can use a combination of the hat and the cannon in order to skip everything entirely and save a ton of time.
Yeah, definitely, because fortunately the hat, when deployed, actually pushes Shantae up by a pixel or 2. So that with precision cannoning just gets you that just about enough height to be able to reach those higher platforms, just saving you to do these Pirate Master trials, which I'm very grateful for, at least.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure every one of these games.
I don't think we ever learned how to speedrun them at any point. We just immediately said, how do we skip it? And we did. Meanwhile, Mijati, he is going all out on the Pirate Master. He's looking at a mid-52 time if he can pull this off and not die. And with his auto potion, I think he's in really good shape. Decent RNG at the beginning. He's doing his short hops. He's doing everything right. He's getting in all the damage he needs. Ooh, he gets a bit of a knockback there, but it's not going to be a big deal. I think this is... Wow! That time. A 52.11 on his timer. SRL time of 52.14. That is a stunning time for a tournament like this. Well done to him.
Nice, GG, and that will book Mijati's spot into the semi-finals. Looking forward to him continuing on, as he will jump into the best of 3 series from that point.
I'm not sure offhand who his opponent is going to be. I think we can figure that out though, as RogueLink starts his climb, which he seems to be doing very well. Props to him. Looks like Mijati is going to be racing either JT, Norimasa, or Cake Sauce, neither of whom is an opponent you want to have. They're both extremely good at this game.
Definitely. To be fair, at this point of the tournament, I don't think you really want to have anyone, because everyone here is, well, to be fair, everyone that was in the tournament is very good at what they do, so it's not been an easy road.
Alright, so, yeah, I've got the okay here to bring in Mijati for a really quick interview. Mijati, GG, well done.
Oh yeah, GG, that was an interesting run.
I would say so.
RNG wasn't your friend, to be fair, during that. I'm probably going to guess you weren't too happy with that, but you covered your bases, you got everything you needed, so at least you was able to adapt to that.
Yeah, I had to farm more than I'd like, especially Tanline had to kill a couple extra Scorpions I'd normally skip. Haven't done that for a very long time, and had to make sure I had money for a bubble shield, so thankfully it paid off exactly as I wanted. I had, I think, 2 gems spare, so yeah, the calculations all paid off. And it was going well until Steel Maggot, and then just fell apart. But still a decent run, so quite happy with that run given the RNG. But on Steel Maggot, of course.
Yeah, low 52 at this point is amazing. So again, GG to you on that.
Yes, very much so. RogueLink just finished his run with a 54.26. Unfortunately, we do not have time to interview him. We have to move on to the next event. But Mijati, any quick last thoughts?
No, yeah, pleased to be through to semi-finals at the start of the tournament. If you told me I'd be top 8, I would have called you crazy. Now that I'm top 4, you're still crazy. But yeah, we'll see where it goes from here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the run. GG again. Remember, everyone, stay tuned for the next event, and please support speed gaming however you can. Follow the runners, follow the commentators. Thank you, Turkey, for being my co-commentator, coming along for the ride.
Yeah, and thank you too. And be sure to follow both, as he said, follow both our runners, both amazing, and follow Sound Defense. He's been a veteran, but it was his run that got me into it, so definitely worth watching.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and enjoy the next race. Please stick around.